Welcome to PolicyCast. Today, we're joined by Jaspreet Singh to unpack a significant announcement from Budget 2026, the proposed tax holiday for global cloud service providers using Indian data centers. As India sharpens its ambition to become a global hub for digital infrastructure, AI computing, and global capability centers or GCCs, this move could be a strategic inflection point. In this episode, we break down what the tax holiday really means, how it changes the landscape for businesses, specifically for GCCs, and whether it strengthens India's position in the global tech race. So let's get started. So, Jaspreet, my first question to you is, what exactly is a tax holiday for global cloud service providers using Indian data centers?
Well, very simply put, a tax holiday for global cloud service providers using India data centers is a targeted corporate tax exemption, which was announced in the recent Union Budget 26-27. What it does is it exempts eligible foreign firms from taxes on income derived from cloud services, which are routed through notified Indian data centers till 2047. This is a 20-year incentive that addresses prior concerns about how do you create a taxable permanent establishment in India simply by procuring local data center services. Some of the key features of this is it includes a 15% safe harbor margin on costs for related party data center transactions to minimize data transfer disputes that we would have seen in the past. What it does, it aims to attract large hyperscaler companies like AWS, Microsoft, and Google, and drawings in investments up to maybe like 200-300 billion dollars, and which will boost India's data center capacity, currently which is about 3% of the global share, to a much larger share. This today impacts us because if you look at like-to-like perspective, today we produce about 20% of the global data, but only for 3% of the capacity, which means that often the data is stored abroad. So this tax holiday will encourage local infrastructure for cloud AI workloads without tax burden. And this also aligns with two very important other policies. One is the National Data Center Policy, which was announced in 2025, and obviously with the larger vision of Viksit Bharat by 2047. And it will help in fostering jobs, sustainable tech, and also obviously then positioning India as a digital hub.
Thanks, Jaspreet. That was really interesting. My next question to you is, how does this impact GCCs, for the larger audience, global capability centers specifically?
This indirectly, so the India's tax holiday for global cloud providers, including local data centers, will have an indirect benefit on GCCs. Number one, by enabling cheaper, more reliable cloud infrastructure. They can run their large AI, analytics, and digital workloads from India. Lots and lots GCCs are now moving away from a cost arbitrage to a tech arbitrage, right? And going up the value chain. So with GCCs increasingly handling high value R&D innovation workloads, lower cloud costs in India by these hyperscalers like AWS, Azure, etc., will accelerate this shift from cost arbitrage to strategic hubs. So the GCCs will gain access to a lot of data. It would help in reducing a lot of latency for running large AI ML workloads. It would help in compliances toward DPDPA and other data privacy laws in India. And what it also does is, if you look today, GCCs are mostly focused around tier 1 cities. This supports tier 2, tier 3 expansions. It boosts talent pipelines in AI cloud roles, which also is one of the key focus of India's 2026 budget, which is the push in skilling. From an economic perspective, if you're talking about so much data center capacity being built in India, there will be new jobs that will be created. The ecosystem growth in power, real estate, infra, cyber security, and all this are services on which GCCs will leverage. In fact, NASSCOM has come up with a public statement saying that it strengthens India's compute facility, which will indirectly fuel the GCC revenue and helps India positioning them as innovation anchors amid the global competition going out today.
Thanks, Jaspreet. That sounds promising. This takes me to the next question. How does this impact Indian ecosystems and SMEs?
A great question, right? Uh, Currently, the Indian tax holiday primarily favors foreign hyperscalers who will be using Indian data centers, creating slightly competitive challenges for local startups and small service providers in cloud and data center segment. While it will derive, you know, ecosystem growth, as we spoke about compute, power, etc., etc., but the domestic players will face higher taxes, uh, and we are hoping that it would also call for policy tweaks to protect the indigenous firms. Uh, what it also means is that Indian cloud operators would have challenges on pricing, scale, uh, you know, the foreign, whereas their foreign counterparts will have, you know, larger access to a lot of money from a tax perspective. Small data center service providers may lose access to market share because when the global hyperscalers come in, they will obviously expand very aggressively. Uh, they will have capital access uh, and will have power and land access, which some of the SMEs would have an issue with. But however, the influx of all these investments coming in will always expand the ecosystem, which will lead for niche areas around edge computing, sustainability tech, and also nobody's talking about the ancillary services like cooling, power, backups, etc. So a lot of startups could thrive in specialized segments if government adds these domestic incentives for balanced exports and local upliftment.
Thanks. My next question to you is, will this change India's position globally from a GCC perspective and encourage more AI and advanced tech investments?
I think India is already, in a pole position from a GCC perspective. Uh, this tax holiday will strengthen India's lead uh, in the global GCC value system by enhancing, obviously, cloud infrastructure, which is very critical for advanced tech operations that will directly encourage AI. Uh, it will solidify India's position. As we already know, more than 1,800 centers are there in India, which employ roughly 2.5 million professionals. Uh, we have about 55-56% of the global GCCs hosted in India. Uh, we are currently outpacing our rivals like Philippines, Poland, uh, you know. But what we need to also look at is expansion into tier two cities. Uh, you know, this policy will boost local compute. Uh, it will reduce our today reliance on the overseas data. As we discussed, almost 97% of our data currently resides outside, which will in turn make India more competitive for real-time AI ML workloads versus some of the Southeast or Asian hubs or the Eastern Europe hubs today, right? And this will obviously have a huge surge on AI and tech investments in India by GCCs will evolve into R&D hubs. They will gain at least 15 to 20% cost savings on Azure AWS via local routing of taxes. It will spur investments in cybersecurity analytics, IP centralization schemes. Uh, so in turn, I think it's a win-win for India, whether it is skilling, whether it is digital economic zones that will amplify our position as GCCs from a global innovation anchors, also looking at the geopolitical situation. So I think if I were to break it down into three pieces, one is obviously we have a huge advantage over our peers, whether it is Southeast Asia or Eastern Europe, because they're also facing a huge talent shortage, which we have abundance of. This will aid in the investment inflow in India, right? We've seen a lot of other states come up with GCC policies, which will aid tier 2, tier 3 cities, boosting the entire ecosystem. And obviously, this helps in reducing the overall reliance on foreign clouds.
Thanks, Jaspreet. My last question to you. Given the fact that India is hosting its India AI Impact Summit 2026 this week in Delhi, and we've got some stalwart, some renowned faces from the industry coming to India and speaking about very relevant topics, what do you think this means for India's growth story, especially when it comes to AI?
Thank you. Very, very interesting question. Huge fan of the AI summit that is happening there. Just imagine 65 to 70,000 square meters expo, 600 startups, almost 300, 400 pavilions, 10, 20 hackathons happening daily, talking about AI adoption, not only in tech, but in healthcare, agriculture, governance, skilling, some of the key priority areas of the country, right? Themes like people, planet, progress that we're talking about, Create in India mission. I think this is India's time to shine. It positions India as a leader in ethical, inclusive AI. We are showcasing the world, the real world applications. It is helping us fostering global partnerships. There's a huge global leadership boost. Where else would you get representative? I think from 30 plus countries, 3,000 odd speakers. The 5 day attendance is they're saying it could be almost 500,000 visitors to the Bharat Mandapam. This all actually positions India at the cornerstone of a Viksit Bharat, right? Because the spotlight is on social good, AI ethics, sustainability, right? So it's not only about India being a destination from an AI perspective, but really a world leader.
That was incredibly insightful, Jaspreet. Thank you for breaking down the policy shift and its broader economic implications so clearly. Today, we explored how this tax holiday could strengthen India's digital backbone, influence GCC expansion strategies, energize domestic ecosystems, and potentially redefine India's role in the global AI growth story. And with that, we wrap up this episode of PolicyCast. We'll be back soon with more expert conversations decoding the policies shaping businesses and innovation. Until next time, thank you for tuning in.